President Trump's much talked about Board of Peace is set to hold its first meeting this week in the nation's capital. There's already a multi-billion-dollar pledge they are making to aid Gaza's recovery. About 24 countries have committed to the board and its announced effort to rebuild Gaza. But there are some key European allies that are missing from the table. NewsNation correspondent Hannah Brandt live at the White House tonight with more. And Hannah, what is the president expecting out of this meeting?
Natasha, in true sort of President Trump nature, he's setting some pretty high expectations for his board. He's announcing they're already taking some steps to try to rebuild and secure Gaza, even ahead of this meeting. Now, remember, this board was originally created by President Trump to help try and implement his peace plan in Gaza. We know that ceasefire has really proven to be fragile. Israel and Hamas have been exchanging strikes. Though President Trump says at Thursday's meeting, they'll be announcing that some member states on the board have pledged more than $5 billion for reconstruction in Gaza. And he also says they're committing thousands of people to be part of stabilization and police forces to maintain security in Gaza. President Trump has also said this Board of Peace may expand its efforts even beyond Gaza to other peacekeeping efforts all around the world. He wrote in a post about it this morning, quote, "The Board of Peace will prove to be the most consequential international body in history, and it is my honor to serve as its chairman." So a pretty high bar there that the president is setting. Now, who's part of this board? Well, leaders from more than 20 countries have agreed to join. That includes Argentina, El Salvador, Hungary, and Saudi Arabia. But as you noted, some close U.S. allies just aren't on this board. The UK, Germany, and France, they declined to join. And there are other world powers like China and Russia who are still deciding whether to accept their invite, Natasha.
Yeah, and Hannah, President Trump, meanwhile, also dealing with the ongoing nuclear talks with Iran, with another round scheduled this week. What is the very latest there?
Some pretty high-stake talks that we've got in the forefront here, because the Trump administration really is emphasizing diplomacy is their preference when it comes to Iran, but at the same time also ramping up that pretty extensive military presence that's in the region. And they say that that presence will be ready in case these talks fall apart. President Trump does say the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald Ford, is heading to the area. And it will only add to the massive U.S. armada that's already positioned off the coast of Iran. President Trump warning, if there's no deal, the U.S. will need that carrier. Now, according to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, U.S. negotiators are already on their way to Europe for that next round of talks expected in just a couple of days. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner are leading those negotiations from the U.S. side. And their goal really is for the U.S. to get Iran to agree to a deal to put some limits on its nuclear program. Negotiators, though, we know, have tried and failed to make progress on this issue before.
It's a complicated thing. I mean, no one's ever been able to do a successful deal with Iran, but we're going to try. Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner will be traveling. I think they're traveling right now to have important meetings, and we'll see how that turns out. We are postured in the region for one simple reason, and that is that we understand that there could be threats to our forces in the region. We've seen them be threatened in the past, and we want to make sure that we have sufficient capacity to defend them if, God forbid, that were to happen.
Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, was just here at the White House to talk with President Trump about Iran, and he said this weekend he disagrees with President Trump's optimism that a deal is possible here. Netanyahu says that's because he's skeptical that Iran really wants to strike a deal, and he claims that Iran just lies. Now, more U.S.-led negotiations are also scheduled for the week ahead with Ukraine and Russia. Some pretty big hurdles do remain to reaching a peace deal in those talks as well, Natasha.
Yeah, I appreciate you tracking all of us. Hannah Brandt live for us in front of the White House. Thank you. Well, American voters may soon be required to furnish a birth certificate or a passport before casting their vote. And we're talking about the SAVE Act headed to the Senate. Supporters call it a common sense guardrail, saying you should have to prove you're a citizen to vote. Critics warn this.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.